Jeudy didn't have to say a word. His jaw was tight, his arms folded, and when the reporters asked about Shedeur Sanders, Cleveland's new rookie quarterback lighting up the field, Jeudy's whole vibe shifted into something colder than the scoreboard. This wasn't just a bad day at the office. It wasn't just a senior wideout hiding frustration behind cliché answers. No, this was something else entirely. In a press room full of cameras and mics, the real story was written all over his face. Somebody had just stolen the spotlight, and Jeudy knew it. See, when most veterans talk about a promising young QB, their eyes light up. The voice gets animated. There's energy, hope, maybe even some brotherhood. But not with Jeudy. When it came time to discuss the rise of Shadure Sanders, Jeudy clamped down one-word answers, zero emotion, and enough tension to fill the room with silence. But here's the thing. Body language doesn't lie. Sure, he told the media it was just about timing and building chemistry, but his clenched jaw said what his PR training wouldn't allow. That wasn't frustration. That was jealousy. And it's not hard to see why, because while Jeudy's season has been one long string of underwhelming performances, dropped passes, and missed expectations, Shadure Sanders walked in like he owned the field. No fear. No hesitation. And in his very first big throw as a Brown, he gave Jerry a golden opportunity to prove that he was still that guy. But instead of cashing it in, Jerry did something so unexplainable, so avoidable. It turned into one of the most embarrassing moments of the Browns season. And when you see the tape, when you listen to that press conference, when you connect the dots, you realize this wasn't just a fumble. It was a full-on ego collapse. And what came next? Let's just say it didn't help Jeudy's case. You can always tell when a player's trying way too hard to keep it together. That was Jeudy right after the game, sitting stiff in front of the press, staring past the reporters like he wanted to be anywhere else on earth. And when the softball questions came in, the ones meant to give him an easy out, he barely reached for them. How important is this week of practice, especially to build chemistry with Shedeur? Jeudy didn't crack a smile. He didn't hype his young quarterback. He didn't even answer like someone who cared. It's gonna be very important. That's it. That was the whole answer. No elaboration. No follow-up. No energy. And think about that. This is the same Jeudy who's known for breaking down coverage like a coach. A guy who normally loves talking about route combos, separating from DBs, and tricking defenders into breaking the wrong way. He used to light up those pressers. But not this time. This time, it was all shoulder shrugs and clipped answers, like he'd been forced to show up just to avoid a fine, like he didn't want to say what was really eating at him. And if you didn't know the context, you might chalk it up to frustration from a bad loss. But even a casual football fan could feel it. This wasn't about one game. This was Jeudy processing something way more personal. It wasn't just that the Browns were losing, it was that he was losing control, losing relevance, and losing the room to someone younger, hungrier, and louder. Because here's what really happened before that press conference. Shadure Sanders, fresh out of Colorado, fresh off the bench, just delivered one of the cleanest throws you'll ever see a rookie make. A 39-yard downfield shot right on the money. And the target? Jeudy. Over the shoulder, perfect placement, ideal coverage read. That's the kind of play that should instantly spark chemistry between a young QB and a star receiver. But what happened after the catch? Jeudy caught it, slowed down, and then mid-run, tried to style his way into the end zone. Just one problem. The defense was right behind him. And that little hesitation, it cost him everything. Jeremy Chin punched the ball clean out of his hands. Fumble. Browns' momentum? Gone. And here's the part that sent fans over the edge. The cameras caught everything, and when you watch it back, it's almost impossible to tell whether Jerry was trying to make a big play or trying to make a point. Because Jeudy had the space. He had a clear lane to the end zone, but instead of sprinting to the house, he floats, hops, showboats. It's not football movement, it's something else. Something emotional. Almost like he couldn't decide whether to help the rookie shine or remind everyone who used to be the star. And if that sounds dramatic, just rewind to the postgame again. Reporters gave him another clean chance to shift the energy, pay the compliment, support his teammate. What have you seen from Shadure these last few weeks as he develops? Another deadpan answer. He's been getting better. That's it. No praise, no excitement, no vibe. It was like listening to someone read names off a grocery list. And in the NFL, where locker room culture starts with buy-in from the vets, that silence says more than words ever could. Because even when a young quarterback struggles, veterans usually make the effort to sound supportive. They fake it, if nothing else. But here, Jeudy wasn't faking anything. He just looked checked out, which brings us to the real issue: chemistry. Jeudy's been through multiple quarterbacks this season, and that's never easy for a receiver. From Dylan Gabriel to Joe Flacco and now Shedeur Sanders, he's had to rebuild timing with every change behind center. And to be fair, the lack of consistency at QB definitely hasn't helped his numbers. But here's the flip side. You can't build chemistry if you're not even trying. And from the calls, the pressers, and the effort on the field, it's starting to look like Jeudy doesn't really want chemistry with Shadure. Because in his mind, chemistry means shared spotlight. And right now, it's becoming painfully obvious that Jeudy isn't interested in sharing much of anything. He doesn't trust the rookie yet, he doesn't seem open to adjusting his game, and most of all, he doesn't seem willing to acknowledge what's becoming obvious to everyone else, that Shedeur might just be the guy. That hesitation, that fear of losing status, it's killing what could have been a breakout duo. Because when you've played your whole career as a top option and suddenly fans are cheering for someone else after one game, it messes with your pride. Especially when those cheers are coming in loud. Especially when analysts start using words like franchise QB for a rookie who just arrived. And for Jeudy, it's not just about catching passes anymore. It's about holding on to power. And on that Sunday, he lost grip literally and figuratively. Big-time receivers don't get many moments like this. Second quarter, Browns up 14-3, the offense finally humming. And Shadure Sanders, Cleveland's untested rookie, taking command under center. He looks left, pressure coming, rolls to his right just outside the tackle box, eyes downfield, sees one-on-one coverage. And then, boom, he lets it fly. A 39-yard laser, tight spiral down the sideline, perfectly placed in stride. The kind of throw that makes defensive coordinators slam their headsets in frustration. A rookie debuting with a play like that? That's the kind of thing ESPN replays for a month. That's instant confidence, instant credibility. And Jeudy? He's on the receiving end of this DMN near masterpiece. He tracks the ball like a pro, turns at the exact right step, hauls it in, no bobbles, no drama, just clean hands. For a split second, it looked like a play straight out of Jeudy's Alabama highlight reel. The kind of grab that reminds everyone this guy was once one of the most feared route runners in college football. But then something weird happened. He slowed down. Instead of hitting the gas and sprinting toward daylight, Jeudy hesitated. He kind of glided toward the right side of the field, like he was waiting on defenders, almost like he was planning a dramatic juke, a highlight cut for the cameras. The whole thing looked choreographed, like he was trying to cue up the viral replay before actually finishing the play. And just like that, the moment turned. Jeremy Chin came flying in from behind like a missile, and before Jeudy could make up his mind about what to do, the ball was gone, punched out clean, bouncing into the turf as Vegas defenders swarmed it. Turnover. Browns drive over. Crowd stunned. Sideline frozen. And Jerry? He stood there looking like he'd seen a ghost. A foot race to the end zone had turned into a feature film of indecision, a highlight-turned horror sequence in less than 4 seconds. And the worst part? Everyone watching could tell that this wasn't some freak play. It wasn't an elite-level defensive masterpiece. It was a classic case of a receiver trying to do too much and doing nothing at all instead. Seconds after the ball hit the ground, Brown's Twitter exploded. Clip after clip, zoomed-in slow-mo shots of Jeudy hopping sideways, fans asking, what was he doing? Analysts asking, why didn't he just finish the run? Memes popping up within minutes. Bro thought he was in a Nike ad and forgot it was third down. This man trying to style against ghosts. Ain't nobody chasing him but his own insecurity. Shadure gave you a dot and you gave it away like a clearance item at Ross. Brutal. But not wrong. Because this wasn't the kind of mistake veterans make. This wasn't just a basic fumble. It looked like something deeper, like a player caught between two realities. On one hand, he wants to be the go-to guy again. But on the other, he clearly wasn't ready to look like an afterthought next to Cleveland's shiny new quarterback. Jeudy tried to spin it in the locker room. In his post-game comments, he said he didn't see Chin coming. He said he tried to cut inside. He gave all the usual answers wide receivers give after a blunder they can't justify. But no one was buying it. Not the fans, not the coaching staff, not the veterans in the locker room. because everyone saw the tape, and it wasn't a football play. It was a hesitation born out of ego. Here's the truth. In that moment, Jeudy wasn't locked in. He wasn't thinking like a player trying to win. He was thinking like a player trying to prove his brand still mattered. A player trying to regain control of his narrative. A player trying to say, "Don't forget who I am." But the problem is football doesn't wait for narratives. It doesn't wait for pride. And it certainly doesn't reward hesitation. Especially when the spotlight is already starting to shift. And that right there, that's the part Jeudy doesn't want to talk about. Because this catch, had he secured it and taken it to the house, would have put Jeudy back in the conversation. Highlight reels, post-game shoutouts, that's the chemistry we've been waiting for. He would have flipped the entire narrative about his slide this season with one move. Instead, he created a disaster. And it wasn't just about the dropped ball, it was about what he dropped with it, his chance to lead this team. His moment to rewrite the story, his opportunity to show that he could still be a difference maker, even in the middle of a QB transition. Gone in seconds. Because when a rookie QB drops a 39-yard dime directly into your hands and you turn it into a turnover, it's not just a bad play, it's a statement. And to the rest of the league, that statement was loud and clear. Jeudy isn't just losing his grip on the ball. He's losing his grip on his role in this offense, and he knows it. There's a certain look veteran players get when the spotlight turns away from them. It's not rage, it's not sadness, it's quieter than that, more controlled, but if you're paying attention, it hits you like a truck. It's that subtle, unmistakable moment when a proud athlete realizes they're no longer the future of the team, they're the old storyline. That was Jerry Jeudy on Sunday. In real time, on camera, in front of the whole world. Because while the headlines were starting to buzz with "Shadure Sanders might be him," Jeudy wasn't celebrating the momentum shift. He wasn't hyping his QB. He wasn't showing leadership or excitement or pride. He was shrinking. And for a guy with Jeudy's background, that says everything. This isn't a rookie who's still figuring out his place in the league. This is a former first-round pick, a standout from Alabama, a route savant who used to break ankles before lunch. Jerry Jeudy entered the NFL with star expectations. He was supposed to be the guy, the face of the Browns' offense, the leader of the receiving core. But on Sunday, all the electricity came from someone else. And to anyone watching closely, it was painfully clear. Jeudy knew it. Worse, he hated it. The body language? Guarded. The responses? Like a hostage tape. The vibe? Defensive, uncomfortable, and deeply, deeply threatened. Because even without saying his name, everyone in that press room knew who Jeudy was really talking about or trying not to. It wasn't just about chemistry, practice reps, or QB rotations. Jeudy made sure to keep things vague. Non-committal. Emotionless. I just keep being me. Can't control nothing but myself. Just gotta run routes. Classic passive-aggressive PR speak. And on the surface, those answers sound neutral, but when you place them next to the moment that just happened, a brutal fumble off a perfect rookie throw, it all reads like code. Not for professionalism, but for jealousy? Because here's the reality Jeudy is struggling to admit. Shadure Sanders didn't just throw a great deep ball, he threw a challenge. A challenge to the old pecking order. A challenge to the locker room hierarchy. A challenge to every veteran who thought their spot was secure. And nobody felt that heat more than Jeudy. Think back when Dillon Gabriel was under center, Jeudy had inconsistent targets. When Joe Flacco ran the offense, the scheme slowed to a crawl. But even then, Jeudy was still positioned as the guy they had to get going. Mentions in team meetings. Encouragement from coaches. We need him involved. But now, nobody's begging to feed Jeudy anymore. Because when Shadure stepped in, the entire energy of the offense shifted. Faster tempo, sharper reads, deeper shots downfield. Suddenly, the younger receivers, guys with less status and fewer contracts were being highlighted. And Jeudy? He became policy, not priority. That's the kind of shift that bruises egos. And it wasn't just the play. The fumble was easy for fans to screenshot and critics to roast, but it was what happened after that put everything into perspective. Shadure looked over at the sideline calm, locked in, unbothered. Rookie demeanor? Yes. But presence? Like a 10-year vet. He didn't scream. He didn't panic. He just moved on. Meanwhile, Jeudy? Quiet, isolated, maybe annoyed, definitely unsettled, because something snapped in that moment. Not physically, mentally. All game long, it was like Jerry had one foot in and one foot out. Not out of the stadium, but out of the moment. Like a player unsure whether to lean in and support this rising star or emotionally detach until the quarterback carousel spun again. But the only thing that was spinning was the spotlight, and it was drifting away from him fast. Let's be honest, jealousy isn't rare in football, especially between veterans and rookies. There's always tension when a new face starts drawing the headlines, touches, and hype. It's even kind of expected. You're talking about alpha competitors, most of them fighting their way up since high school, grinding day and night just to chase that WR1 tag. But what separates the greats? They adapt, they lead, they evolve. Even when their role changes, they don't shrink. They embrace the next phase. Jeudy's not doing that, at least not yet. Instead, he's sinking slowly, publicly, and emotionally. His attempts to stay neutral come off cold. His body language screams insecurity. And his play on the field? Well, that fumble said more than any quote he gave during the presser. Because when a receiver wants chemistry, he builds it. When he believes in a quarterback, he over-communicates. When he's confident in his value, he finishes the play every play. Jeudy did none of that. And if you're still wondering whether it really was jealousy clouding his game, all you had to do was watch who wasn't celebrating Shadure's throws. You saw other receivers tap him up. You saw linemen dap him after each series. You saw young guys light up after first downs. But Jerry? Stone-faced, detached, absent. Because the only thing colder than a silent presser is a WR who knows he's not the favorite anymore and fears what that means for his future. For a long time, Jerry Jeudy was supposed to be Cleveland's future. A former first-round pick, elite separation skills, a crisp route runner with hands soft enough to catch glass when he wanted to. Coming out of Alabama, people were calling him the second coming of Amari Cooper mixed with prime Stephon Diggs. That was the ceiling. But here's the thing. That ceiling's been collecting dust. Because instead of becoming a go-to WR1, Jeudy has spent most of his NFL life stuck in neutral, not a bust, but never quite the breakout star he was drafted to be. And this season? It might be his lowest point yet. Let's talk numbers. Through 12 games, Jeudy has barely cracked 32 catches and 395 yards. That's not WR1 energy. That's not even WR2 stats. That's borderline, we need to talk territory. Especially when you realize he's only scored one touchdown all year. Worse, he leads the NFL in drops, and this is the second straight season he's at the top or bottom of that list. That's not bad luck, that's bad focus. And the excuses? They were running thin even before Shadure Sanders took the field. Jeudy fans had been saying the same things for weeks. He needs better QB play. He's just not getting enough separation. Give him a chance downfield. Well, Sanders gave him a chance. In stride. Downfield. Picture-perfect 39-yard dart. And Jeudy fumbled it literally. Which makes what happened next almost poetic. Because from the very moment Sanders stepped behind center, everything changed. The offense opened up like a playbook that had been stuck on the same page for months. Suddenly, it wasn't just checkdowns and broken routes. It was confident movement in the pocket. Smart reads. Deep throws with conviction. They weren't just moving the ball. They were attacking. And that's where the contrast between these two couldn't be clearer. Jeudy? Body language of a man watching the sand run out of his hourglass. Sanders? Body language of a kid rewriting his own NFL origin story in real time, unbothered, unfazed, and unapologetically gunning for wins. And maybe that's what rattled Jeudy the most. Not the throw, not the spotlight, but the ease. Because Shedeur doesn't look like a guy overthinking anything. Doesn't blink when pressure comes. Doesn't hesitate in big moments. And here's the kicker, he's doing all this without the benefit of first-team reps, without rhythm, without a system tailored to his style. Meanwhile, Jerry Jeudy has had every chance to establish himself, and each time the ball comes his way, the pressure seems to crack him open just a little more. That matters. In football, momentum isn't just physical, it's psychological. Shadure's rising because belief is building. Fans are starting to trust him. Coaches are starting to expand the playbook. The locker room is watching him command huddles with poise. Very few rookies have. The team feels like it's turning a corner, and the guy leading the turn? It's not Jeudy. That's the part nobody wants to say out loud. But everyone sees it. The veterans see it in practice, when the rookie's voice starts getting louder in meetings. The analysts see it in game when Shadure delivers throws with guts that guys twice his age avoid. And Jeudy? He feels it every snap, every time the ball goes to someone else, every time the media focuses on what this rookie means for Cleveland's future, every time the fans cheer for a new face. Because Jerry wasn't supposed to be a role player. He was supposed to be the future of this franchise. But now, he's at risk of becoming just another name in a crowded depth chart. Real talk, Shedeur Sanders didn't take Jeudy's job. He made everyone realize Jerry wasn't doing enough to keep it. And deeper than that, he exposed something the numbers had already hinted at. Jeudy might not be evolving. He's still playing like the same player he was 3 years ago. Same roots, same habits, same confidence swings. No leadership bump. No attitude shift. No extra gear. Compare that to Sanders. Passionate, present, demanding excellence from himself and the veterans around him. That's leadership. That's growth. And if the Browns lean fully into him, this offense could finally become dangerous. But that comes with a price, one that Jeudy is clearly not ready to pay. Because if Shadure becomes the guy, it means Jerry won't be. Not anymore. It means no more walking into the facility knowing you're the one cameras will circle. No more offensive installs built around your skill set. No more fix Jeudy's numbers game plans. It means you're a shadow of what the franchise hoped you'd be. It means reality finally settled in. And that's what Shadure's breakout exposed the difference between fading potential and rising force. One player's getting better with every snap. The other's just trying to survive long enough to stay relevant. And if Jeudy doesn't make peace with his new reality soon, he won't just lose his role. He'll lose the locker room, he'll lose his reputation, and most painfully, he'll lose the last real chance he has to turn this career around. Every wide receiver lives for the big moment, the sideline toe tap, the third down conversion, the game-winning route where the ball cuts through the air like it was meant for them. They live for that walk back to the sideline where teammates slap their helmet and fans chant their name. But for Jerry Jeudy, that walk feels different now. Colder, keener, and with each game, the truth gets harder to ignore. He's not the focal point anymore. And not because he isn't talented, that's never been the question. Jerry still has the skill set. He can sell a double move better than almost anyone in the league. But talent doesn't guarantee attention. Effort earns it, energy sustains it, and chemistry keeps it alive. Jeudy is losing on all three. Because when Shadure Sanders walked onto that field, something shifted beneath the surface, something Jeudy didn't control. The playbook opened, the receivers got bolder, the team looked energized. And for the first time all season, the offense felt alive again. But instead of seeing that as a chance to build something, Jeudy saw it as a threat. And maybe it's hard to blame him, because let's be real, when you're used to being the guy, when you've been the number one in the huddle, the locker room, and the stat sheet, watching that role dissolve in real time isn't just humiliating. It's terrifying. And it showed not in what Jeudy did, but in what he didn't do. He didn't light up when asked about his young quarterback. He didn't explain the routes like he used to. He didn't lean in and help foster the chemistry everyone's begging for. Instead, he detached. Let's rewind. After the fumble that cost Cleveland a potential blowout lead, Jeudy didn't walk up to Shadure. He didn't put a hand on the rookie's shoulder. He didn't show accountability or urgency. He just stood there, arms crossed, mouth tight, like someone watching a problem he didn't really want to solve. And that moment mattered. Because chemistry isn't built in practice reports or press quotes, it's built in adversity. And in that moment when the rookie QB needed his veteran WR to lift the energy, lock in, and double down, Jeudy vanished. That's not leadership, that's ego. And it's costing him more than numbers. It's costing him trust. From the coaching staff, from his teammates, and from the locker room that now sees Shedeur as more than a fill-in, they see him as a spark, a possible solution. A player who might just be the real deal if the team gives him the keys. And that's Jerry's biggest problem. He used to own the keys to this offense. Everything flowed through him. He was the route artist, the playbook centerpiece, the guy the OC designed early first quarter shots for. But now, he's just one option on a list that keeps growing while his production keeps shrinking. And here's the uncomfortable truth. His name doesn't stop the offense anymore. His presence doesn't dictate matchups or demand double coverage. Defenses aren't scheming for Jeudy. They're just watching him. And fans, they've noticed too. When the rookie QB's biggest moment turned into a highlight reel disaster because a veteran slowed down, the entire narrative flipped in real time. What could have been a powerful introduction for both of them, Sanders, the gunslinger, Jeudy, the playmaker, suddenly became a moment of disconnect. A near touchdown turned unnecessary turnover. A chemistry test failed on the first attempt. And who does the fan base blame? Not the rookie. He made the throw. Not the defense. They just capitalized. They blame Jeudy. Because in the NFL, roles change fast. One week, you're the main character. The next, you're holding up a supporting cast, and if you don't play that new role with grace, the spotlight moves on without you. And that's exactly what's happening here. Jeudy isn't just losing statistical value. He's not just dropping passes. He's losing psychological territory inside that locker room, on those sidelines, and in the eyes of the fans who've waited years for him to turn that corner. At one point, Jerry Jeudy breakout game was a weekly headline waiting to happen. Now, the headlines are chasing Shadure Sanders. The focus has flipped. And instead of embracing it, helping it grow, putting personal pride aside to build something bigger, Jeudy is trying to hold on to the idea that this is still his offense. But football doesn't care about your resume. It cares about your reality. And here's Jerry Jeudy's current reality. He's putting up WR3 numbers. He's showing WR4 energy, and he's acting like he's still WR1. That's a dangerous place to be because it doesn't just create tension. It creates isolation. Isolation from the quarterback, from teammates, from team chemistry. And if he doesn't adapt soon, he won't just lose his role. He'll find himself phased out of an offense that's already learning how to thrive without him. Not all mistakes carry the same weight. A dropped ball in the first quarter of a blowout loss? That's just noise. But a fumble off a perfect rookie deep ball in front of cameras, when your team is leading and the momentum is shifting, that's a message. And for Jerry Jeudy, that message wasn't about football. It was about fear. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of becoming replaceable. Fear of watching his moment become someone else's headline. Because let's be honest, that play wasn't just a turnover. It was a turning point. Shadure Sanders dropped a flawless 39-yard pass into Jerry's hands. It was the kind of ball coaches dream about. The kind of ball that tells you a quarterback can read the field, feel the pressure, and still deliver with confidence. Everything lined up. Jeudy had space. He had separation. He had a clean lane to the end zone. And for one pressure-packed moment, he had something even more important, the opportunity to remind everyone who he was. But instead of sprinting forward, he hesitated, hopped, glided sideways, like he was trying to decide how to finish the story rather than just finish the play. And in that split second of indecision, Jeremy Chin made the decision for him. Punch. Ball out. Drive over. The rookie made the grown man throw. The veteran made the rookie mistake. And the body of Cleveland gasped all at once, because everyone felt the weight of that play not just because of the scoreboard impact, but because it showed fans, teammates, and analysts that something deeper was going on with Jerry Jeudy. This wasn't just about execution. It was about ego. It was about a player caught in the middle of a power shift, and instead of rising with it, he shrank underneath it. And the worst part? The world saw it happen in real time. In HD. From every camera angle. The debate started immediately. Why'd he slow down? Was he trying to juke too early? Was he showboating or just lost in the moment? But it didn't take long for the truth to come out. This wasn't strategy. It wasn't tunnel vision. It was emotional overflow. Jeudy wasn't locked in. He was in his own head. That fumble didn't just kill the drive, it revealed the insecurities he'd been desperately trying to hide all season. In that moment, he wasn't playing football. He was fighting ghosts, doubting his place, wondering about his future, turning what should have been a highlight into a hesitation that cost the team and shattered his image. And then came the post-game messages. He's trying to troll when this man's making his NFL debut? That was a 30-yard dime and you're playing with it like it's a toy. You really thinking about celebration dances when everyone just wants to win? Social media exploded. NFL reporters started circling. Talk shows ran the play on loop like it was a blooper reel. The spotlight that had once given Jeudy prestige now made him exposed. And when he sat down for his pre-practice interviews that week, the change in tone was undeniable. Muted confidence, short answers, nowhere near the buzz he used to carry in his voice. Reporters tried carefully to bring up Shadure. They tried opening the door for him to take the high road, to reset the narrative, to say, "We're building something." And what did Jeudy give them? "We just gotta get reps. He's developing. Just keep doing what we do." Empty words. No spark. No unity. Just a professional trying to talk without saying anything. That, right there, is bigger than a fumble. That's quiet confirmation of everything that's been whispered behind closed doors. Jeudy isn't adapting, he's resisting. And that won't work for much longer. Because Shedeur's presence isn't going away, the coaching staff is leaning in, the fans are sold, the film doesn't lie, his talent is real. And the leadership he's shown in just a few games has already made the locker room look at him like a long-term option. So now the question becomes, where does that leave Jeudy? If he continues to sulk, continues to half-engage, continues to self-sabotage, then that fumble becomes the symbol of something bigger, a career unraveling in real time. Because football isn't kind to hesitation. On the field, you hesitate and get hit. In the locker room, you hesitate and lose your role. In front of your teammates, you hesitate, and someone else steps up. And make no mistake, Shadure Sanders is stepping up. He's not playing scared. He's not waiting for approval. He's not wondering where he fits. He's just taking it. That's what Jeudy has to understand. You don't stay relevant because of past hype. You stay relevant by being ready when the moment finds you. And on Sunday, the moment found Jeudy wide open, ready to reignite his season. He didn't just drop it. He let it define him. You won't hear Jeudy admit it at a press conference. He's not going to lean into the mic and say, "Yeah, I'm threatened by a rookie." There's no scenario where he publicly confesses to feeling left behind. Because when you've built your identity on being the first read, the top target, the headline name admitting that someone younger, flashier, and sharper is coming for your spot, that's too heavy to speak out loud. But you can see it, plain as day. Every time Shadure Sanders get praised, Jeudy get quieter. Every time reporters ask about building chemistry with the new QB, Jeudy mumbles out the same one-liners. Just gotta get reps. Keep working. Do my part. The words sound mature, but the emotion behind them? Hollow. Because they're not coming from a place of growth, they're coming from a place of survival. And here's what nobody in the locker room wants to say out loud. But everybody is starting to understand. Jeudy is jealous. Not malicious. Not openly bitter. He's not throwing helmets or bad-mouthing teammates. He's not lashing out. But he doesn't have to. Because jealousy doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers through body language. Through eye contact that doesn't exist. Through effort that looks just slightly less urgent. Through fake smiles that don't quite reach the eyes. And when Shadure Sanders is out there dropping absolute dots, getting love from fans, buzz from national media, and subtle nods from coaches, that jealousy becomes a slow, steady burn. Because Jerry knows what this league looks like. Young quarterbacks don't rise alone, they take people with them. When a rookie starts looking like the future, his favorite targets get fast-tracked to franchise pieces. That could have been, Jeudy should have been. He was in the perfect position to become Shedeur's guy, a reliable veteran to lean on, a security blanket, a deep threat, a locker room stabilizer, a WR who could age gracefully and elevate his quarterback at the same time. But instead of embracing that role, Jerry's been fighting it. And that's where the tension really starts to boil, because this isn't just about a blown play or a bad press conference. It's about a fading star who doesn't want to fade. Jeudy is seeing the writing on the wall. He's spent his whole career hearing that he's special, that he just needs the right QB, that the breakout is just one game away. But now, the QB is finally here. And Jerry isn't rising with him. He's stumbling, nervous, pulled in too many directions. And the irony? He needs Shadure Sanders to succeed, because that's his path back to relevance. If Cleveland builds around the rookie and this offense explodes, Jeudy could still spin his season around, become productive again, prove that the drops were the result of instability and not a permanent flaw. But that road only works if he's ready to help. And right now, Jeudy's helping just enough not to look selfish, but not enough to be a real leader. Supporting the QB in media? Not really. Showing excitement about the opportunity? Nope. Taking ownership of mistakes? Barely. This is the tightrope Jeudy's walking. He wants Shedeur to win, but not too much. He wants the offense to flourish, but not if that means fewer targets. He wants to believe in the rookie, just not at the cost of his own spotlight. It's emotional sabotage wearing professionalism like a mask. And it's dangerous. Because locker rooms can feel that energy. Players can sense when someone's faking the team-first mentality. They know when a guy is more worried about his role than the result. And with every press conference Jerry powers through, every textbook answer he gives, it's becoming harder and harder to ignore. Jeudy doesn't want to be part of the rebuild. He wants to be the reason for the rebuild. And that's just not the case anymore. Shadure Sanders has already become the face of Cleveland's future, whether anyone likes it or not. Jeudy can either evolve into a true veteran ally or get replaced by someone else who will. Because if Shedure's going to become great in the NFL, and a lot of people believe he will, it's going to happen with or without Jeudy's buy-in. And deep down, Jerry knows that, which is exactly what's haunting him. He sees a reality where he could be left out of history, where Shedeur becomes a household name in Cleveland, and Jeudy becomes a forgotten footnote after one fumble too many. That's the fear behind those cold press interviews. That's the weight behind every dropped pass. That's the pain behind every just gotta get reps soundbite. It's the pressure of watching someone else become what you were supposed to be. And until Jeudy can let go of those expectations, until he realizes there's power in mentorship, value in consistency, and respect in humility, he's going to keep losing more than just snaps. He's going to lose himself in a version of the league that no longer needs him to be the star. In the end, it wasn't just a dropped ball. It wasn't just another stat on the sheet or another lowlight in a frustrating season. That fumble meant something more. Because what went down at the sideline in that split second, when Jeudy let it slip away, wasn't just about football. It was a truth moment. It was the kind of play that strips things bare, leaves nothing to hide behind. Not draft rankings, not college highlights, not excuses about chemistry or timing. Just the cold reality of what was actually going on behind the scenes. It was the play that said what Jeudy never would. That he was scared, that he was off, that he wasn't ready to share the stage, let alone step off it. And you could see it all right there on the tape. The hesitation, the unnecessary hop, the lack of urgency, like he was more focused on how the moment would look than on simply finishing the job. Because in his mind, this wasn't just a deep throw, this was a crossroads. Shadure Sanders had just thrown the single cleanest pass of the Browns' entire season, and he had thrown it to Jeudy. Their first chance to show the world what this duo might become. And Jeudy floated. That's not physical fatigue, that's mental resistance. And it told the truth that post-game soundbites couldn't. Jeudy was not ready to be unselfish, not ready to step into a guidance role, not ready to celebrate someone else's rise while still in the middle of his own struggles. Because all of this was never supposed to be how his story unfolded. He was supposed to be the main character, the Browns' future. The route-running phenom who finally got a quarterback that could unlock him. The Pro Bowl caliber receiver who overcame drops, critics, and chaos to reinvent himself. That was the narrative Jeudy was clinging to, until Shadure took the field and flipped the script in one game. The rookie's presence took the shine off Jeudy's name, and no matter how subtle he tried to play it, you could feel the static. The lack of high fives, the one-word answers, the sideline silence after the turnover. And worst of all, the fumble itself. Because mistake doesn't quite cover it. It wasn't a drop under pressure. It wasn't a hard hit force out. It was a perfectly placed deep ball, turned into a momentum-killing blooper. And that tells you everything you need to know about where Jeudy's head really is. He's not losing because he got beat. He's losing because he won't let go. He won't let go of the self-image. The dream that this offense still runs through him. The idea that he's still exactly what's been missing when the Browns struggle. But the uncomfortable part? He's not anymore. This new version of the Browns doesn't need a WR to carry the offense. It needs receivers who buy in, who run every route hard, pick up unglamorous assignments, and show trust in a young QB who is clearly growing before our eyes. That's how the new stars make themselves irreplaceable. They serve the system, and in doing so, become the system. Jeudy's playing like the system still owes him something. And on Sunday, we saw exactly what that mindset gets you. A perfect opportunity ruined by indecision. A chance to lead ruined by ego. A rookie's perfect throw wasted by a veteran who couldn't put pride to the side for just 5 more yards. And here's what no one's saying in the building, but they're all thinking it. If Jeudy can't fix his mindset soon, he's gone. Not just physically, he might stay on the roster, but emotionally, spiritually, culturally, he'll be off the map. Because the Browns aren't waiting for veterans to feel comfortable anymore. They're moving with whoever's moving the ball. Right now, that's Shedeur. It could have been Jerry too, but he hesitated. And in the NFL, hesitation costs everything. So when they go back and break down this season, fans won't remember every stat. Most analysts won't even remember the final score, but they will remember that fumble, not because of what it meant on the scoreboard, but because it told the truth. The truth about a veteran who's afraid the story isn't about him anymore. The truth about a rookie who walked in with pressure and still delivered. And the truth about how quickly a spotlight will shift the moment effort, trust, or ego gets in the way. The ball was in his hands. The end zone was right there. The play was ready to make them both legends. And Jeudy let it slip not just through his fingers, but through his future. The rookie delivered the moment. The veteran fumbled the truth.